You're watching the free version of Silhouette Essentials. For projects and footage, head to BorisFX.com for the premium download.
Okay, once the roto is done, we can change the width. So down here, when I'm clicked on my shape, you can see down here there's all these different parameters you can change for your shape. You have different blend modes, you can change the blur, you can have different blur types, centered, inter, outer, shrink and grow, opacity, invert, motion blur, color, and now we're going to work on the stroke width. I'm going to choose 5 and see how that looks. I'm going to zoom in. And it looks pretty good. Of course, I could do a little more refining of the roto shape here, but I don't want to take too much time in the demo. But that's the general idea. So I'm going to disable this layer, the visibility, and we'll do some tracking for these other areas. So this is not as straightforward. If I want to rotoscope these wires here, I only need to cover the area that's in between this handlebar front and this brake gear here. So I'm not sure what to track because I don't really need this data down here. I want data closer to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some new point trackers. Shift T. I'm in the tracker tab down here. I'm going to insert a point tracker. I think this one's pretty straightforward. Hold down the Alt key. And then I'm going to just take a guess here and I'm going to track this area here. It looks like a pattern that a point tracker could grab onto. I'm going to click Alt and then I'm going to adjust my tracker. And this time, let's just track them both at the same time. I'm going to do every frame, select them both, zoom out, and we'll track. Of course, we'll do every frame again here to change that and track forwards. Of course, we're tracking in a stabilized view for screen left wire. Let's just remove that to none. And then we'll go back to the middle frame and we'll track to the beginning. The point trackers are locked on their spots pretty well. Okay, so now I need to create a layer for this tracking data. They're both selected here in the object list. Create, click apply. Scaling and rotation are already enabled. Okay, and I'll call these double wire because I'm going to put both my shapes in the same layer. Double wires. And disable the visibility on my tracking shapes. So now I can pick a frame where I want to drop in my shape. I'm going to use an open spline where I can see it clearly. Click B. Escape. And we'll see how this worked out. We'll go up to the stabilization mode and click double wires and see how this looks. Okay, that's doable. Not too many extra keyframes to make. There's a little wobble here. Just a few more refinements. And then when I want to scrub through fast, I'll just click Alt X just to move forward. So now I'm going in between the two keyframes here. And if I keep clicking X, it's going to go in between each two keyframes. So click X here. And then if I think this looks good, if I click Alt X again, it goes in the middle between my last position and the next keyframe. So that's kind of a quick way to just skip right through. Okay, so this shape's matching pretty well. There could be a little more refinements in some areas, but I don't want to take up too much time. So that's this shape here. So now I want to make a shape for the wire that's next to it. And another way to do that is that I could just make a new shape entirely, or I can duplicate this and see if the movement is close enough. So I'm going to select my spline here. I'm going to call this lower wire and click Command D, Control Command D, and now I have a duplicate of that. I'm going to lock this shape. I'm going to call this upper wire. And I'm going to give this a different color. And now I'm going to use the Multiframe tool. Over here on the toolbar on the left, you can see that this is the icon for the multiframe. If I click M, you can see it's enabled and I have a red border around my screen. The Multiframe tool will move all the points for all the keyframes at once. So I'm locked, my lower wire is locked. I can't change any of that. I have my red wire here. I'm going to just select these points and I'm going to move them up to the upper wire. And you do not have to be on a keyframe for this to work. Even though I am on one, you don't have to be. Okay, when you're all done, click M, the red border goes away, and now you can see how close it follows. So while it's not a perfect match, it takes some of the work out. Of course, another option would be is just to drop a new spline into the layer. Okay, so that's pretty close for now. I'm just going to disable the stabilized viewer and zoom out. I'm also going to change the stroke width for my shapes. My shape was locked. I have to unlock it to do that. And we'll change the stroke width. And we'll turn on our screen left wire. Maybe we'll change this color so they are all different colors. And that's a fairly painless way to rotoscope the wires. And if we look at my final, just stop this here. I'll go back to the final. We will turn on the bicycle and we'll turn off the trackers. You can see my final here.